Making headlines this hour, President praises Maldives' traditional pole and line fishing technique, describing it as a global model for sustainable fisheries. The government reveals efforts are underway to increase flight connectivity to Gang International.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Minha Maroof. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu has praised the Maldives' traditional pole and line fishing technique, describing it as a global model for sustainability. His statement, issued on World Tuna Day.
World Tuna Day, established by the United Nations. The 2025 theme, Our Ocean, Our Tuna on pole and line fishing, a practice deeply embedded in the nation's heritage. Passed down through generations, this method relies on one-by-one catch techniques, setting it apart from large-scale commercial fishing, which often depletes fish populations at unsustainable rates. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu underscored the significance of traditional pole and line fishing technique, noting that the approach reflects the country's enduring commitment to responsible fishing. Fishing has historically been a cornerstone of the Maldivian economy, and the government has reinforced its dedication to sustaining and diversifying the sector. As the industry grows, officials have prioritized environmentally conscious policies to ensure the long-term viability of fishing as a primary source of national income. Among the latest initiatives is the launch of a National Fishermen's Registry, designed to streamline industry regulations and support local fishermen. The government has also introduced personal finance loans, providing direct access to capital for modernizing operations and securing economic stability.
Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shyam says government has fulfilled key pledges from their manifesto to protect the rights of workers in the fisheries sector.
Speaking on the occasion of International Workers' Day, the minister underscored the administration's commitment to addressing long-standing concerns in the industry. Fisheries Minister Ahmad Shyam said among the government's most notable achievements is the full settlement of $16.21 million in arrears owed to fishermen under the previous administrations. The minister said that with these payments now disbursed, affected workers have received the financial compensation long overdue to them. Timely payments have also been a focus. The administration, the minister stated, has implemented a system ensuring fishermen receive their earnings within 48 hours of delivering their catch, an effort designed to end prolonged delays that have frustrated industry workers for years. Recognition by the state, the minister added, has provided fishermen new opportunities. For the first time, they are formally classified as individuals engaged in government-recognized employment, a designation that grants them access to financial assistance and banking services typically reserved for those in other established professions. To support economic stability, the government has facilitated arrangements for fishermen to secure loans, including access to personal financing through BML. Under the program, individuals can borrow up to $19,464.34, a resource aimed at strengthening the financial resilience of those in the industry. The government's broader stance on labor rights was reaffirmed as nations observed International Workers' Day on May 1st. Minister Shyam stressed that empowering workers is integral to national development, ensuring economic growth is sustained across all sectors. Closing his remarks, the minister extended greetings to workers across the country, recognizing their contributions as essential to the country's progress.
First Lady Madam Sajida Mohammed has explored collaborative initiatives aimed at improving the Maldives healthcare system in a meeting with representatives from Germany's Merck Foundation.
Professor Dr. Frank Stengenberg-Haverkamp, chairman of the Merck Foundation Board of Trustees, and Dr. Rasha Kalej, CEO of Merck Foundation, met with First Lady Madam Sajida on Thursday evening at the President's official residence, Muliage. During the meeting, Professor Dr. Stengenberg-Haverkamp and Senator Dr. Kalej discussed collaborations with the First Lady to improve the Maldives' health sector, highlighting areas where Merck programs could intervene. They detailed scholarship opportunities and programs aimed at assisting doctors in pursuing training in specialized areas. The First Lady outlined the healthcare landscape of the Maldives, emphasizing the government's efforts to enhance the healthcare system. Before concluding the meeting, the Merck Foundation recognized the First Lady's efforts to build healthcare capacity, break the stigma associated with infertility, and empower women in the Maldives. They acknowledge First Lady Madam Sarjita Mohammed as an ambassador of the Merck Foundation's More Than a Mother program. This program works closely with African and Asian First Ladies and women leaders to define policies and interventions to build quality and equitable reproductive and fertility care capacity, break infertility stigma, and raise awareness about infertility prevention and male infertility.
The Minister of Homeland Security and Technology, Ali Ihsan, says consolidating key agencies under one umbrella marks a major step in addressing the long-standing issue of undocumented immigrants in the Maldives.
Speaking to PSM News, Minister Ihsan said the number of undocumented expatriates residing in the Maldives had increased exponentially because the relevant agencies had not been working together to solve the problem in the past. He said that the enforcement work has not been successful in the past because previous governments had allowed relevant agencies to work solo. For instance, he gave the example that immigration had been working separately, police separately, labor relations authority separately. However, unlike in the past, the Ministry of Homeland Security and Technology, Immigration Department, Maldives Police Service MPS and Labor Relations Authority LRA, along with several other related agencies, have been working together as a home team, according to the minister. In addition, the establishment of police presence in every inhabited island before the end of the year will further strengthen the system of using biometric technology to identify undocumented expats in the islands and enhance enforcement efforts. Minister Ihsan said the public is now beginning to see results of the government's extensive efforts to address the immigrants issue, expressing confidence that this administration will establish strong mechanisms in all islands across the country to manage and monitor foreign expatriate workers.
Tourism and Environment Minister Tariq Ibrahim says the government is pushing ahead with plans to boost flight connectivity to Gan International Airport in Ado City. Speaking at the Arabian Travel Market in Dubai, he highlighted efforts to bring more airlines to the southern hub to enhance regional tourism and accessibility.
At present, Sri Lankan Airlines remains the sole operator serving Gang International Airport. Talks are underway with multiple airlines, including low-cost carriers, to establish new routes. Minister Tariq said discussions have been held with approximately 4 to 5 airlines. He said among these, deliberations included the potential resumption of Wizz Air service, which remained suspended. In addition, meetings have taken place with executives from airlines currently operating in the Maldives, including Fly Dubai and Gulf Air, along with representatives from other existing carriers. Officials are also in discussions with budget airlines to attract travelers during the summer season, according to the minister. He said expanding flight access further, conversations have been initiated with major Middle Eastern carriers who are key players in driving tourism to the Maldives. To strengthen international partnerships, Minister Tariq confirmed that Memorandum of Understanding MOUs had been signed with Emirates and Qatar Airways. Under these agreements, efforts will focus on increasing flight frequencies to the Maldives. Minister said that they are working to increase the ease for airlines to provide services in the Maldives, examine how they can work with MMPRC in market in the Maldives, and increase the number of tourists coming into the country. While flight expansion remains a priority, Minister Tariq highlighted the need to improve Gang International Airport's infrastructure. Though the facility sees a steady influx of visitors daily, local residents have raised concern over limited services compared to other international airports in the country. In response, the government has awarded the airport's redevelopment project to India-based Renatus Projects, with construction now underway to enhance infrastructure and accessibility.
Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital says the spread of an antibiotic-resistant bacteria at its neonatal intensive care unit has been successfully contained. The hospital confirms that no new cases have been reported since mid-April. IGMH says the multi-drug resistant bacterium Burkholderia cepacia was first detected in a child admitted to the NICU on March 27th. The child was immediately isolated and infection control protocols were activated. Subsequent tests revealed the bacteria in 4 other infants, all on ventilators. The hospital responded by isolating all affected babies, enhancing infection control, and conducting environmental testing to locate the source. Since the initial case, 84 infants have been admitted to the NICU. Of the 10 currently under care, 5 are being treated for infection in the strict isolation. The hospital says no new cases have been reported since April 15th, and arrangements are now being made to send affected children abroad for advanced treatment. IGMH assures the public that all necessary precautions are in place to safeguard patients' health and prevent any further outbreak. Ooredoo Maldives has reported a net profit of $10.8 million in the first quarter of the year. According to the telecommunication giant's quarterly report, the net profit achieved in the first 3 months of 2025 is 2.5% better than the $10.5 million during the same quarter last year.
The main revenue generators for Ooredoo during the quarter were from its mobile and fixed and broadband internet services. Ooredoo posted revenue of $26.7 million from mobile services in the first quarter of this year. Last year, the company earned $27.9 million from mobile services. Despite the decline in mobile service revenue, fixed broadband revenue increased by 8% during the quarter with $8.8 million. In the first quarter of 2024, Ooredoo posted a fixed broadband revenue of $8 million. Ooredoo closed the quarter with a gross revenue of $35.5 million, reflecting a 1.3% decrease compared to the same quarter of 2024. During the quarter, Ooredoo Maldives expanded its 5G network, covering 80% of the population. This expansion is part of the company's strategy to support the Maldives' digital transformation by enhancing connectivity, driving innovation, and user experience. Additionally, it also launched the country's first eSIM-enabled wearable service with Samsung smartwatches. This innovation allows users to stay connected and access essential functions like calls and messages directly from their smartwatch, providing a hassle-free experience and greater convenience.
U.S. stocks rallies with the Dow and S&P 500 posting their 8th straight session of gains after strong results from megacaps. Microsoft and Meta eased concerns about artificial intelligence spending. Microsoft surged and hits its highest level since late January, driven by an upbeat quarterly growth forecast for its cloud computing business, Azure. Microsoft briefly surpassed Apple to become the world's most valuable company.
What is driving stocks higher today is tech earnings. So we saw last week we got Google and we got ServiceNow, and both of those companies beat in terms of not just earnings but revenues and raised guidance. And now what we received from Wall Street and from the tech sector is Microsoft. That was a great report. We had been adding to the stock on April 3rd in the midst of peak tariff chaos at about $370 a share. And of course, we're happy we did, but I think you still want to own this stock from here.
Meta Platforms rallied and reached a 5-week high during the session after posting higher than expected revenue on the back of a strong advertising performance. The results helped ally AI in recent years with not growth.
Tariffs are a tax, and they're a punitive tax. So they're a consumption tax. So if you consume a lot of things, and most lower income and middle income customers, and that's what we heard from McDonald's today, that it was the blowing down. So now, they have to make decisions, and economists will tell you whether there's substitution effect. but you really can't substitute some of the things that are going to be tariffed. So I think the jury is still out. I don't ever like tax increases. It is true that energy prices and costs are coming down. That's good. We may see a tax cut later this year, but depending on where tariffs end up, it could just be a wash.
According to the preliminary data, the S&P 500 gained 33.25 points or 0.60% to end at 5,602.31 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 254.04 points or 1.46% to close at 17,700.38. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 70.5 points or 0.17% to 40,739.41. Demonstrators rallied in New York Union Square on May 1st for May Day, urging labor unions to take a stand against U.S. support for Israel and calling for arms embargo amid the ongoing war in Gaza.
A speaker at the rally said that they no longer allow American communities to be plundered to pay for genocide in Palestine and war against the world.
We can no longer allow our communities to be plundered to pay for genocide in Palestine and war against the world. We can no longer allow our plans to turn out weapons of mass destruction rather than building hospitals and schools and housing we need. And we have to send a message to our so-called labor leaders. You cannot fight against Trump. You cannot fight against the oligarchy unless you fight to free Palestine, unless you stand up to war and genocide.
Protesters waved signs and chanted, calling on unions worldwide to act. Chants of money for jobs and education, not for war and occupation, and workers and oppressed people of all countries unite echoed through the crowd.
Now, the genocide happening in Palestine did not begin on October 7th of last year. It began 77 years ago when the Nakba, the Holocaust, the dispossession of the people of Palestine began by the Truman administration. So I want to ask everyone to join us to mark that anniversary on May 10th, Saturday, in Bay Ridge at 12 noon, to join with the Arab and Palestinian community here on the 77th anniversary of Nakba. And today, let's hold accountable the U.S. government and corporations, war profiteering corporations like Citibank and Chevron for the genocide, who are getting rich off the genocide in Palestine. We got to shut them down. And let us say two phrases that our enemies fear most. One is free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. And the other is workers and oppressed people of all countries unite. We have nothing to lose but our chains. Not another penny, not another dime, no more money for Israel's crimes.
May Day, celebrated internationally as International Workers' Day, took on a sharply political tone in New York as tensions ratcheted up with U.S. President Donald Trump's administration.
As the sun dips low over Cotonou, 15-year-old Khadijat Ouedraogo and her father, Amidou, makes their way to a twilight training session on the rugby pitch, each step echoing her dream of one day representing Benin on the global stage.
Ouedraogo's dedication reflects a broader transformation across West Africa, where rugby, long viewed as a rugged, male-dominated sport, is rapidly gaining traction among young women from Togo to Ivory Coast, challenging gender norms and offering new paths to empowerment. Last year, Ouedraogo's performances helped her side lift the championship trophy in Lomé and claim bronze in Abidjan, Benin's borders. Ouedraogo, and that playing this game might cause her medical issues and thus reproductive. her father admits that he was once wary. He recalled that under coach Kofi Anderson Marilor, Quadrago has flourished. The coach said she's shy of the field but fearless in it. Marilor had a professional career abroad, emulating heroes like Frances and Antoine Dupont. Quadrago represents the next wave of African women redefining rugby.
A Swiss-Italian team has unveiled an edible robotic wedding cake featuring dancing gummy teddy bears and chocolate-encased edible batteries that power LED candles.
Called RoboCake, the project blends robotics with culinary expertise and aims to highlight sustainable solutions for reducing waste and potential applications in health and environmental monitoring. RoboCake was developed by the researchers from EPFL, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne, the Istituto Italiano di Tecnologia, IIT Italian Institute of Technology, and pastry chefs and food scientists from the EHL Hospitality School in Lausanne. Sitting atop the cake are two robotic gummy bears made from gelatin and syrup that move via an internal pneumatic system.
The robotic cake is composed of just some examples of robotic food. It is made of it looks like a wedding cake. And on top of this wedding cake, we have two dancing bears, and we have chocolate batteries. The chocolate batteries are used to power some candle lights. The consistency, the taste, and the smell of the robotic dancing bear and of the chocolate batteries have been refined by pastry chefs of the Lausanne Hospitality School.
To power the LED candles on the cake, IIT researchers built the first edible rechargeable battery crafted from vitamin B2, quercetin and activated carbon and dark chocolate.
So we are developing fully biodegradable and edible robots that could be used for monitoring environmental properties, for example, the pollution of waters, the quality of soil, or the amount of pollution in the canopy of forest. And the advantage of our edible robots for monitoring all this important information is that during their lifetime or at the end of their operation, they can also provide nutrition to the animals that exist in these natural environments and could be attracted by these mobile robots.
By replacing traditional electronics, the researchers said these components could help address the 40 million tons of annual electronic waste, while fully consumable parts would reduce food waste. Future applications include smart pills for health monitoring, such as pH sensors to track digestion.
We demonstrated the first edible rechargeable battery with a casing which is made completely with chocolate. So we added taste to our edible rechargeable battery.
Other applications also include environmental monitoring, with edible robots assessing water or soil quality while providing wildlife nutrition.
We are now also working on sensors that can be in future integrated into these smart pills to measure interesting electrophysiological parameters from the inside of our body. For example, a pH sensor, because, for example, when also eating, there are variation of pH in the stomach, which are interesting to be monitored to see how our assumption of the food is affecting our body. And other sensors are important, for example, temperature sensors, pressure sensors, and so on.
And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.